But when we have unwanted inflammation in the body, it's acting on the brain. There's receptors on the brain for that inflammation, and it's changing your mood and your behaviors in a similar way. It's kind of a misdirected response. It thinks that there's an infection, you want to withdraw from the world. And to me, it just blew my mind that we just think about it in terms of infection, but there's this whole suite of different things that are now becoming the main causes of poor health that are not related to infection that we need to start focusing on.
Like chronic stress, perhaps?
Yep, exactly.
The modern day
Burnout.
Lifestyle, burnout.
Yeah.
So you posted something about burnout today. It'd be cool to discuss that, because that's kind of coming to the fore now as well. Where historically, I mean, the kind of circles that I work in, it used to be that the CEO lifestyle was you don't sleep at all, you drink a lot, you're on a plane all the time, you've got no time to exercise, and that's just how it is. But now I think there's a new era that's just starting, which is if you want to perform, you need to control your stress.
Yeah, completely.
You need to control your inflammation.
Yes.
And that sort of segues into all the things that you talk about in your book, which is the exercise, the diet, the sleep, all these components that I think we all know are important.
Yeah.
So what kind of actionable insights do you kind of put forward within your writing and when you talk to people about what they can do to strengthen? We talked about boost, not sure if that's the right word, but really kind of get their immune system into the strongest possible state and think about that chronic inflammation as well.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing my PhD in London, I certainly felt the sting of burnout. Frequent colds and just no energy and all of those, like that cascade of symptoms where you're just not recovering. So stress isn't necessarily supposed to be a bad thing. It can be quite motivating. If you feel a bit of stress about an event, it helps you prepare, it helps you get ready, it gives you a boost of motivation. But when that's not matched with adequate recovery, then it starts to have this kind of negative effect. It's like you're constantly on the accelerator and you're never pressing the brake. And I was sort of thinking, I have all this knowledge at my fingertips. Like, why am I not applying it to myself? And so I think that's when I started the journey of like, okay, what do I know? What have I learning about? And how can I apply it to myself? And it is all the pillars of things that we know. It's all the stuff, like you're saying, we don't get taught in medical school about.
Or school.
Yeah, or school. Yeah. And I think about this a lot with my own kids. We're teaching them to like sit at a desk all day. When I look at the school meals that they offer, it's like, and I'm sure we can get to the microbiome, but it's very important for children, that we set that up in the early days of their life. But I think it can feel overwhelming that we need to do everything perfectly, and also people want the fancy stuff. So it is really cool to, go on a wellness retreat or, do the ice bath and the sauna and everything. Yeah. But it's not going to fix anything if you're not doing the little things every day. So the little practices that just take the pressure valve and help you manage that. And it's almost like collecting your own toolbox of things for you. I'm remembering that there's a huge mismatch between how the world is and the inputs that our immune system needs to function well. So I often think that sometimes we get to that stage where we're like, we just need to be doing more like stress relief, like more meditation. And it's always that sort of flagellating ourselves that we've not done enough. And it's actually like, maybe the world's just too much. We're not meant to be working such crazy hours, commuting, just the pressures across the board of our life. And so that self-compassion piece, I think, is really interesting. And there's a really beautiful study where they taught people different self-compassion techniques. So
what does that mean? Sorry, the self-compassion.
Yeah, there's a very unique definition. I'll probably butcher it if I try and describe it, but there's a definition of self-compassion, and it's like having a common sense of humanity, like, we're all in this together. It is really hard. Using sort of kind language to yourself, reminding yourself that you've given your best. And when people are taught to do this by professionals in the area, they, over a period of, I think it was 3 months, they found that they could lower levels of unwanted inflammation in the blood just by this self-compassion. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And that really, to me, is we've integrated the mind and body, but we don't think about it that way in terms of our kind of conventional approach. We separate the mind and body, but they're talking to each other all the time. And, your immune cells have receptors on the surface for the different neurotransmitters. And so there's a communication there. There's special immune cells in the brain that are helping to nurture that environment and make sure that cognitively and the physical health of the brain is there. And so there's that conversation going on all the time. So it's no wonder if we feel stressed that's going to have an impact on how our immune systems function.